Joan Laporta is officially the new Barcelona president, and as a new era begins, he certainly has a very big to-do list. So with this in mind, I'm taking a look at 5 things Laporta needs to do to turn Barcelona around. First up, and of course, it is Lionel Messi. Will he stay? Will he go? This transfer saga has been going on for well over 6 months now. It seemed to be a few months ago that he was set to move to PSG or Manchester City for a reunion, of course, with Pep Guardiola. However, he has stated that he does want to wait until the season is finished to assess his situation, and Laporta could play a massive role in what the player decides to do. Now, for those of you that do not know, of course, Laporta was Barcelona president from 2003 to 2010, and during this time he did bring in Pep Guardiola as manager, good work there, and he gave Lionel Messi his debut. Therefore, the pair do go back quite a long way and seemingly have a good relationship, and this is something Laporta has used time and time again in his campaigns. He's alluded to the fact that Messi would be a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident with him as president, and he's basically stated to fans that they need to 100% vote for him, and if they don't vote for him, then there's a good chance Messi could leave the club. He's emphasised this relationship so much, like I say, and he really does now need to deliver. What Laporta needs to do is end these rumours once and for all. Like I said, Messi is waiting until the end of the season, but also he's stating that the competitiveness of the club could be another factor as to whether he stays or goes. So if they don't have a great end to the season, could this affect things? Who knows? And Laporta's conversations with Messi are bound to be so vital. If possible, the president needs to get Messi to sign on the dotted line as soon as possible. And if he is going to stay at the club, I think something like an interview to the media would really help things. Number one, it would expel the rumours and it would silence everybody discussing where he may or may not go. It also would be great for fans. They would have a lot more confidence in Laporta. They would be happy that Lionel Messi would be staying. It allows Messi to set the record straight and to state that why he was unhappy and why he thought about leaving and why he's now staying. And of course, for Laporta, it would make him look pretty good as well. Renewing Lionel Messi's deal would come at a big cost for the club, but his exit would also hit income hard, not to mention the emotional blow as well. Therefore, Laporta needs to get to work on Messi's contract as soon as possible. In at number 4, it has to be clearing out the Deadwood. Now, one thing we know about Barcelona is that they do have financial issues. They are reportedly in over €1 billion worth of debt, and this is bound to have an impact when it comes to the transfer market. In addition to this, their salary limit has been capped by La Liga, and what this means is that they're going to have to reduce costs by 35.7 million, which means they'll have a total of 347 million euros. So this means that they're going to have to really take a look at their roster of players. Now, if we're being honest, recently some of the purchases that Barcelona have made have not been the best, especially during Eric Abidal's reign as director of football. I mean, looking at some of the players that he brought in, we've got Kevin Prince Boateng, Malcolm, Jason Murillo, Junior Firpo and Antoine Griezmann. It would be difficult to consider any of those successes. However, credit where credit's due, Abidal did bring in the likes of Clement Lenglet, Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, but it seems like recently Barcelona have been bringing in all these names that have allegedly been superstars. They've not lived up to expectation and they've cost a lot of money. What this means is that Barcelona is bloated in terms of its wage expenditure, and what this means is that some of the backup players are probably going to be sold in order to ease the financial strain. Now, some players have already taken temporary salary cuts and extended their contracts. You're looking at the likes of Gerard Piqué, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Clement Lenglet and Frenkie de Jong, but when you do look at some of the players that Barcelona have, some of them either just don't really fit in anymore, some of them are arguably a little bit too old, and some of them just simply cost far too much money and do not bring enough to the table. Let's take a look at some of these names. You've got Miralem Pjanic. Although he's not been at the club long, he was a strange signing in my opinion, and at 31 years of age, he's reportedly on an annual salary of over 10 million euros, and I think he's not necessarily worth all of that money. Then you've got Samuel Umtiti. When he was first brought in, he was full of so much promise and was such a talent, but it hasn't worked out. He suffered from so many injuries and allegedly has a salary of around 10 million euros. Then you have Sergio Roberto. He has made some amazing moments with Barcelona and has had moments of greatness, but he seems to be becoming more and more of a little bit of a utility player, especially with the arrival of Serginho Dest. So parting ways with Roberto does make sense, both in a sporting and financial perspective, as the player reportedly earns more than 8 million euros a year. Then there is Felipe Coutinho. He came to Spain with tremendous promise. It was his dream to play at Barcelona, and things have definitely not gone to plan. He has shown small small signs of promise under Ronald Koeman this season, but there are injuries that also come with the player and the salary that puts him as one of the highest earners in the team. In addition to these names, the likes of Jordi Alba and Junior Firpo have also been linked with moves. Now, I'm not saying that all of these players should go, definitely not. However, if Barcelona want to ease that financial strain, then they are going to have to make some hard decisions in order to bring some new talent in. Since some of those players could be departing, job number 3 for Laporta is to find some new talent, and apparently top of that list is David Alaba. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Wasn't he supposed to be going to Real Madrid? It seemed like it was done and dusted, but reportedly not. Manchester City are interested, and now Barcelona have thrown their hat into the ring. Now, before the election, so before he was actually president, Laporta apparently met up with one of David Alaba's representatives, who he does have a good relationship with. They talked about Alaba, how he was interested. They said that nothing official has been done with Real Madrid, so he said, wait until I'm president and then we'll talk some more. And now, of course, he is president and he is ready to go toe-to-toe with Florentino Perez again to try and get this player from Real Madrid. And he would be such an attractive signing for Barcelona, especially when you consider the fact that he could not only play as a centre-back but a left-back as well, and would be such a vital cog in the Barcelona machine if he was to make the move. And the good relationships do not end with David Alaba's representatives, but Mino Raiola as well. Of course, they do apparently have a good relationship dating back to the days when Zlatan Ibrahimovic was, of course, at Barcelona. And now it seems like he's going to be in talks with Raiola to sign, of course, Erling Haaland. However, not too sure if this one will happen. We have actually done a video here at OneFootball talking about which clubs we think Erling Haaland could be going to, and you can check that video out somewhere above my head right now. In addition to these two names, there is of course Eric Garcia, who seems set to return to Barcelona from Manchester City. And speaking of Manchester City, Sergio Aguero is apparently on the to-do list as well. Now, he of course does have a really good relationship with Lionel Messi, which could be a reason why they're looking at bringing the player in. And of course, they do want a replacement for Luis Suarez. Now, I'm not too sure if Aguero is a direct replacement, especially because of the injury issues that he has been having, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. And of course, Ronald Koeman had his eye on Georginio Wijnaldum and Memphis Depay, so let's see if Laporta is able to bring in any of these players. And speaking of Ronald Koeman, next up at number 2, the job for Laporta has to be the current manager and his future. I'm sure that Koeman will be very excited to have a chat with the new president to determine what his future looks like, as he seems to be pretty fed up for having to answer all the questions about his future. Now, Koeman on the whole has not been a terrible manager at Barcelona. I think he's done an okay job of keeping the Barcelona ship steering as steadily as he can, especially when you consider all of the drama that has been going on at the club pretty much since he's arrived. Now, we all know that he is a good manager, there is no doubt about that, and I think he would be a good manager to have in a rebuild, and he's been doing okay at Barcelona, like I say, especially when you also think about the young talent that he has brought through the ranks into the first team. But Laporta didn't hire him. He may want a fresh start with a new manager, so there is a chance that Koeman could be out of a job. But who would replace him? Now, apparently Mikel Arteta's name has been thrown around, as Laporta does like to bring in a former player as manager, as he did with Guardiola. But no disrespect to Arteta, I do not think that he has proven himself to be a better manager than Ronald Koeman, not at all. And also, I think it's highly unlikely that he's going to have the same effect that Guardiola did. Finding a manager like Guardiola in a former player, that happens once in a lifetime, let's be honest. We'll have to wait and see what Laporta decides to do, but if Ronald Koeman does manage to catch up to Atletico Madrid in the league, if he manages to win the Copa del Rey, does this mean that he could be in with a chance of keeping his job? And Laporta's final job has to be regaining the club's identity. I mean, you look at recent history in Barcelona, it's left fans feeling hurt, upset, angry, and like they can't necessarily trust who is at the helm at the club. And you pair this with their dip in form, especially that humiliating defeat in the Champions League last season against Bayern Munich. The team has lost their identity, and clubs don't necessarily play them with that same fear that they used to have, especially looking at some of the results that they've had this season. With all of this in mind, Laporta has to reignite Barcelona as a powerhouse in European football. And in addition, he needs to eliminate the drama that has been a serious cloud over the club for quite a while now. He's got to bring joy back to the fans, and he's got to regain people's trust. The first step regarding the club's identity is La Masia. Of course, this academy is the epitome of Barcelona, the crown jewel of the football club, and it's inspired some of their most talented teams, and the institution has produced some of the world's greatest footballers. Even though a significant number of Barcelona's players have come through the ranks, of course, at La Masia, it seems like the last great group of players, the likes of Lionel Messi, Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, Gerard Piqué, they're now in their 30s, and there has been a little bit of a gap since then. But Laporta has emphasised the importance of the academy during his campaign and is adamant that he will look to restore it to its former glory, previously saying it will be our pillar, the backbone of the club's values. This is bound to be music to the ears of so many Barcelona fans, however, not of course to discredit some of the players that have recently come through the institution. I mean, you've got the likes of Riqui Puig, Alex Moriba, Ansu Fati, of course Pedri, so this shows that there is talent there, but there's still work to be done. And when you think about all these youth players, there are some contract issues that Laporta is going to have to address. First up, let's take a look at Alex Moriba. His contract runs until next summer, but he has already received several offers from other clubs, and with his agent being the same as Gareth Bale's, money is always going to be a big topic of conversation. His agent apparently got a commission of €2.5 million on the 18-year-old's current deal, but he's already attracting a lot of attention, like I say, so they will definitely have to pin him down. Then you've got 21-year-old Oscar Mingueza, whose deal does come to an end in June, but Barcelona do have the option to extend it for another year or two. This, of course, does mean that the defender's salary will need to be looked at, but he will be considered a first-team player next season. Then there's Riqui Puig, whose future could be up in the air after seemingly clashing with Ronald Koeman, and you have Alex Collado, whose deal ends in June. This is without even mentioning Ansu Fati, whose contract expires next year. And another way that Laporta should be regaining the club's identity is to take a look at this redevelopment of facilities that has been going on for such a long time. Bartomeu may have changed the name of it, but this doesn't hide the fact that this does need to be addressed. It's been going on forever now. It cannot be pushed back any longer, and Laporta does recognise this and does actually want to follow in the footsteps of rivals Real Madrid, who have managed to do a similar redevelopment, and he is confident that things will be done by 2024, the club's 125th anniversary year. Now, if Laporta does manage to achieve all of these things, especially regaining trust from fans, I do see light at the end of the tunnel for Barcelona. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Laporta can get all of these jobs done? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, check out all the other content that we've got, and I will see you guys later.